Big news out of the UK. President Trump announcing that he will declare Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. This is big news and has major implications for people who have donated to Antifa, people who are part of Antifa, and the terrorist attacks that it has conducted will be linked to all Antifa members. This is a huge thing. We've already heard President Trump talking about using the RICO statutes against people involved in these organizations. This is big news. We're going to be talking about some of the impacts of this. We're going to talk about George Soros. We're going to talk about basically how even moderate Democrats are saying these leftists have gone way too far. And we're going to talk about our senator here in Pennsylvania, Fetterman. I know it's hard to imagine. I'm talking good stuff about him. But he is out there openly denouncing those people on the left. So let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. And this is important stuff that will impact us. It's a win for a lot of us. And the question is how big of a win will it be? All right. Welcome to the Poplar Report. If you haven't been here before, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on any videos that you like here, as well as your other favorite creators. And a bunch of you have the hype button as well. Check that out. That's a way for you to tell YouTube that more people should watch this type of content. Some of you have access to that, some of you don't. But anyway, so let's start talking here. President Trump issued this truth. It's a tweet, but on his Truth platform. I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designated Antifa a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So this is one of those things where we keep getting told by the mainstream media that Antifa doesn't actually exist, that Antifa isn't an organization, which is absolutely insane because there's lots of Antifa organizations. There's Antifa Portland, and they have regular meetings where they meet outside of the ICE detention center and attack ICE officers regularly. There are Antifa boards on Facebook, Discord. You go through the internet, and there's plenty of places where Antifa exists. And many people, even in their social media profiles, say Antifa. So just to say that it doesn't actually exist as an organization is really wrong-headed. And these Antifa organizations get funded through donations and through a network of nonprofits that are organizing with Antifa. And we've seen countless attacks on people across the United States and around the world from these Antifa organizations. So anyone who uses the title, they are self-declaring themselves to be a part of this organization, and there is actual money that is flowing through these organizations. There is information that's being passed. There are hierarchies inside these organizations. So this is not off base. And from what we understand, the Antifa is at least partially involved with what happened to Charlie. So that is another instance and issue here. Because apparently the guy, I don't even like using his name. I think he should just be forgotten. His name should be forgotten. People shouldn't be famous for what they've done evil. Their name should be forgotten and gone. Anyway, the guy, he was receiving information, resources, possibly even training. We haven't found that out yet. Possibly even training from organizations and Discord comments and stuff like that. So now some people are saying like he had to be professional. 200 yards is an impossible distance. Blah blah blah, and that's not true. That's just silly. Okay. Now, for somebody to hit that regularly and confidently means that they have practiced a good bit, right? I mean, they've spent time. You don't just pick up a boomstick and be able to do that, from playing Call of Duty, right? I mean, it takes some training, takes some practice to be able to hit that consistently. So the question is where was he getting his practice from? His father, a sheriff. That may have been where he got his range time from. I don't know. But he also apparently is affiliated with these trans organizations that speak for the use of weapons. So did he potentially go out with them and receive some training from them and instigation from them that then resulted in what he did? That's what's all being investigated right now by the FBI and such. All right, so the question here is, what exactly does this terrorist designation mean? Now, a domestic terrorist organization is different than an international terrorist designation, right? Because the statutes against that he's using against cartels, where he's blowing boats out of the water without due process, is a little different than what would be happening to U.S. citizens or people even on U.S. soil. So you have that, and it seems like he's basically indicating a major domestic terrorist organization, and that seems to be what he's saying. Unfortunately, he didn't use the right language, so it's kind of hard to say this is what he meant to say. We don't know the exact issue. Once we see the orders come out, I'm not sure if he's going to do this with an executive order or if we're going to see some sort of statement come out from the FBI or Department of Homeland Security in the coming days. That's going to be, we're going to see. President Trump announcing that this is what's going to happen. Has this already happened? Apparently not yet officially, but he was saying that it's going to happen, and then now he's saying that it's going to happen. It's happening. But we're going to see the official reference and the official details shortly. All right. So we have all this this word out that, and it's not hard to see where the political leaning of Antifa is, right? Antifa absolutely supported Joe Biden. So if you went to Antifa.com, it would actually direct you directly to JoeBiden.com. Okay, they absolutely supported President Biden in his run for president. Supported the Democrats, and the Democrats have supported them significantly. They supported fundraising for Act Blue, which supports Democrats. They do not see any sort of connection or unity with conservative movements whatsoever. So these are far left anarchists who do not believe in any sort of government, and they're not libertarian. They believe in a liberal, leftist, communistic. I know it's weird. It's kind of like they're anarchists, but at the same time they're like communists. So it works in their brains apparently. So they're against government, but they're also against not having government. I don't know. So one of the things that we're seeing here is that a lot of the money that's funding these organizations, because a lot of these people that show up at these protests are actually paid actors. George Soros, since 2016, has poured over $80 million into these groups tied with terrorism or extremist violence. His Open Society Foundation empire has very much supported a lot of these Antifa groups, and part of the reason why they have so many groups is it's this intentional. They're trying to obfuscate. That's the word, obfuscate, which just means to obstruct and to make it unclear by having many organizations, and it's just confusing. It makes it hard for law enforcement to really crack down on it because they're like, something happened over here, but that was Antifa Portland, which is different than Antifa San Francisco or Antifa California, or just all the different organizations. It's how can you tie them all together? And that's what the RICO statutes actually exist for, is when you have this intentional attempt to obfuscate criminal intent through the use of shell corporations and organizations stacked on top of organizations in order to try to make it so that the law enforcement can't figure out what's going on and who's really responsible for stuff, while you have somebody or somebodies who are very intentionally instigating criminal actions, which is exactly what's happening here. The Soros Society, absolute open society, absolutely is instigating criminal actions, which is exactly why they spent so much money getting their district attorneys into cities. And then those district attorneys then refuse to bring charges against anyone in these networks. And so we see all these crimes that happen that nobody ever gets charged with. Why is that? Because the DAs in these cities are just like, no, they're my skin color, so therefore I won't charge them with the crime. And if you're like, Steve, that sounds horrible, yeah, that's basically what's been happening. We've seen the cover given to them by having different organizations. We've seen the cover that they've bought for themselves by hiring their own DAs across this. District attorneys are not usually a highly politicized position that's fought over with a lot of money, and yet we've seen the George Soros Open Society pour tens of millions of dollars into these campaigns in order to get the people elected that he wants elected. And they then oversee the decline of these cities into terrorist criminal cesspools, which is what we've been experiencing in the United States. Crime rates have been going up in these cities like nobody's business, while they've been going down everywhere else in the United States. And that really goes to show they also are getting their own mayors and police chiefs who are then underreporting all the crimes. So it's actually way worse than what we've even been told. Now, the Antifa groups directly flowed out of the BLM, Black Lives Matter organizations, right? These organizations turned into Antifa, or they just kind of transmorphed over, but we see the crossover in membership is massive. Even though the Open Society was funding the BLM movement, and then it funded the Antifa movement. We have the fact that George Soros and his Open Society organization is pulling the strings and funding all of these organizations. Is really the smoking gun. The smoking gun that he is linking all of these organizations together and has created this network. We also see other people like Bill Gates and some other wealthy people who have funded into these movements as well, and they do not seem to be either concerned about their money being used for criminal actions or to investigate much at all. Now, BLM, of course, not only did they embezzle a whole bunch of money, because of course they did. There's like that woman, she was running one of the BLM chapters or whatever like that. She got confronted for spending tens of millions of dollars on her own handbags, luxury vacations. I think she bought a couple mansions or something like that. And they're trying to hold her accountable, and she got like super angry and you know, like, oh, you know, stop being racist against me kind of thing. It's like you're funding your entire lifestyle out of the contributions to this organization. But that's a situation here. So we see these links happening, and it's not just people on the right. It's not just libertarians. Not just normal people that are having a problem with this. Even Democrats are like, you know, these guys have gone off the deep end. Senator John Fetterman, a Democrat, says basically that the Democrats have incited violence and inspired this assassination on Charlie Kirk. Calling it just like it is. He's saying basically that everyone on the left calling everybody in the center or on the right a Nazi and a fascist is contributing and instigated what has happened. That's where we are. Is that even moderate Democrats are realizing that that the people on the left are violent psychopaths, and they're instigating violent psychopaths to do the things that they're doing. And then they turn around and say the Republicans need to turn down the temperature. That was Stacey Abrams, which is just like absolutely insane. They think that they are the only ones who can determine what's right and wrong, and anyone who speaks out against them is somehow a tyrant or deserving of violence to come to them. So, President Trump is making some big movements here to act against this RICO criminal network known as Antifa and also associated organizations. With the federal government now going to open up bank accounts and seeing where is this money flowing. If this organization is criminal and they instigated criminal actions, open up that organization, look at where they're getting funding from, where did that money come from, go to those people, individuals, and organizations that funded that organization, open up the finances on those organizations, and start drawing the financial linkages throughout the whole network. And I think we're going to see that that there are far more linked and far more puppets than what we expected even. I mean, no, it's going to be surprising to a lot of us how far the rabbit hole goes. And the situation is going to be, if they really follow through on this, is going to be a massive scandal, the likes of which I don't know if the United States has ever experienced before. Because we got billionaires backing these people on the streets to commit criminal acts, so they can then use those criminal acts as justification to elect certain people into offices. Yeah. Talk about election tampering. And that may be an interesting side note there too. We may find some of these organizations directly did commit other criminal actions, such as interfering in the elections as well. All right, friends, we got a lot to think about on this kind of stuff, and we will definitely have more updates on this as it goes forward. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.